30 minutes into the U.S. trading day on this Monday, February 26. Here are the top stories we're following. Flush with cash. Berkshire Hathaway inching closer to a $1 trillion valuation as operating earnings rebound and its cash pile reaches a record high. We'll speak to one investor with a 10% stake in the conglomerate. Not over yet. Earnings season grinding on with big retailers from Macy's to TJX take the stage in addition to names such as Zoom and Salesforce. We'll preview what to watch out for. And commercial real estate contagion. Real Estate Roundtable CEO John Fish says that it'll take more than lower interest rates to stem the distress. That's our Wall Street Week Daily segment in just a bit. I'm Katie Greifeld in New York. Welcome to Bloomberg Markets. You take a look at these markets right now, and it's pretty quiet across the board. We start with the S&P 500. I guess you can call that gains, but still very muted compared to what we've gotten used to. The S&P 500 up by less than 0.1%. The same thing, too, if you take a look at the NASDAQ 100, this to the downside, but pretty much unchanged on your big tech index. Of course, we're continuing to digest all of the earnings we got from our tech companies last week. Retailers up this week. We'll see how these numbers change. And then let's take a quick look at the bond market. You're taking a look at 10-year yields right now, currently higher by about a basis point or two. Of course, it's a heavy week of both Fed speak and economic data, which we're going to get into in a little bit. But let's start with one of the big stories, and that's Berkshire Hathaway, an early riser after Warren Buffett's conglomerate said its cash pile hit a new record. The company also racing into a $1 trillion market cap. Joining us for more is Bloomberg's Sally Bakewell. And Sally, it sounds like they have a lot of cash, but not a lot to potentially buy here.
That's right.
Well, farmers are protesting in Brussels as EU agricultural ministers Andersons distributes agricultural products to both retailers and farmers. And let's start off with the geopolitical context, because it's been 2 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. And as we know, that war is still ongoing. How would you characterize the impact that that's had on the global grain market and the movement of those grains around the globe?
Well, first, thanks for having me on, Katie. And it's really been a really crazy.
A lot of unrest in other parts of the world. We opened up, of course, with farmers protesting in front of the EU headquarters. But when you think about the past 2 years and what's going on, particularly in Europe and that part of the world, what has the impact been for U.S. farmers in particular?
Well, U.S. farmers really benefit.
Nature, whether it's the weather, it feels like the supply chain, it can never truly get organized there. But you mentioned supply and demand, and I want to talk about some of those dynamics when it comes to corn, because we know that U.S. farmers, they just harvested a record crop, truly astonishing, but they don't want to sell because of the prices. How do you trade around that?
Yeah, and for us, we're a ethanol producer, so our big buyers.
For them to start to sell meaningfully, is that getting to a certain price on corn, or is it some other factor?
Yeah, and we've seen quite a reset in
around $4 or so a bushel. How much lower could it reasonably go at this point?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. I think the key thing is
by ethanol plants, really that convert into green jet fuel. We've just been talking about Berkshire Hathaway and the record amount of cash they had. You said that, of course, the Andersons has plenty of dry powder. But what does the opportunity set look like? Are you running into the same sort of issue where there just isn't enough to buy out there? I am curious, when it comes to the fertilizer market specifically in the U.S. and Canada, how are you thinking about 2024?
Yeah, things have a little bit.
Got to leave it there. That, of course, is Patrick Bowe. He is the Andersons president and CEO, talking to us just about 2 years after Russia invaded Ukraine. And, of course, we're still looking at the fallout from the grain markets there. But let's get a check on the equity markets. And we're going to do that now with Abigail Doolittle. Or a rocket ship, whatever you choose. Either way, the stock is down quite a bit. Bloomberg's Abigail Doolittle. Thank you so much. Now coming up, what's going on? All right, it's time now for Wall Street Week. And today we're taking a look at the challenges in commercial real estate. And joining me now, I'm thrilled to say, is John Fish. He is Real Estate Roundtable chairman. He's also the founder and chairman and CEO of Suffolk, which, of course, is a building and related finance company. So, John, clearly you are the authority on this topic. When it comes to the 250 member companies in the Real Estate Roundtable, what would you say are the main concerns right now? What's the mood on the ground? Chairman and Suffolk founder, chairman, and CEO. And of course, tomorrow on Wall Street Week, we'll be joined by the CEO of Tectonic Financial. But we do want to bring you some breaking news now, and that is that Sweden has cleared the final obstacle to gaining NATO membership. Hungary's parliament just approved the vote. It comes 21 months after the Nordic country submitted its membership bid jointly with Finland in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Much more coverage coming up. This is Bloomberg.